Hello, welcome. I'm Deanna from Nana's Journey, and today we are going to do these two blocks here. This is a Lemoyne star, and this has half of a Lemoyne star, so I'm going to be making them at the same time. This will be a 9-inch block. The half star I'm going to make like a 7-inch block. And then when I fill in the rest, it'll end up being a 9-inch block. So that is where we are at today. Now I've cut the strips out. I'm going to use, excuse me, Debbie Tucker's Rapid Fire Lemoyne Star Ruler. This part is for fussy cutting. I'm not doing that, so I will be using this part of the ruler. She has a chart. This does anywhere from 3 to 12-inch blocks. So for the 9 and 7-inch blocks, I've checked the chart and cut up the background strips and the 2 color of star strips. For the smaller one, I've got these 2 colors. And for the larger one, I have the blue and the purple. For the background, you want to mark A and B and put the top. And then what you do is you fold this down for ease, and you put a mark there, and that is where you are going to start sewing. Now for the A strip, you're going to sew with right sides together on the right side. For the B strip, you're going to sew with right sides together on the left side. Okay, and when we press, B will get pressed this way, so towards the fabric. A will get pressed this way, towards the background. So when they are put together, all the seams will go in a circle in the same direction. So if you press correctly, then you'll be able to nest your seams and the pressing will lay flat. So let me get these sewn, and then I will press them and show you what I mean. Make sure that this is lined up with my mark, and my background is not as long as it should be because I'm using scraps first, so I'll probably have to do this again with an additional piece. I don't know, we'll see. I need to get 4 out of here, so maybe I can, maybe I can't. We'll find out. So I need to start at this end. Okay, let's go to the ironing board, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, here are the 2 A strips. I don't know if you can see, it says A top right here. I've turned those upside down, so that's why they're towards me. And then I've got the B strips. So what we're going to do is the A strip is going to go, actually I probably shouldn't have done that. Should have kept them this way, because the A strip is going to be pressed this way. Probably should have set that seam first. And then the B strips get pressed towards this. These are the star strips. So now we've got A and B, A and B. Okay, this is why you mark your B strips and your A strips so that you don't get them confused. You want to put your B strips face up, down. You're going to take your A strip and put it right over, and you're going to feel and nest those seams. And now they're all nested and ready to be cut. Okay, now we're going to cut. I'm going to take this, put this on the seam. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and lay it right next against the thing. Then I can remove this and cut that off, that scrap. And that's why you move this down. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Put that seam right on there. This gives us a good 45-degree angle. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for the minute. We'll work with this one. Now, whatever width you cut this strip is how far you're going to make those cuts. And for this one, I need 2. 1. 2, because I'm only doing half of a star. Now, next, we don't need to measure anything or do any math. Let me scoot these over a little. What we're going to do is we're going to take the tip right there. We are going to put this line on the seam, but make this come out towards the tip. And we're going to cut and do the same thing here. These are also used in the star. Okay, I had just enough scrap fabric of that width for the background left to do one more strip, which was all I needed. So that worked out great. So next we're going to put those together like that. Then you're going to take your triangles and they will go there. You'll end up with a block. Now you can do this with 2 different color backgrounds, and then match up these triangles here, but mine is all the same. Okay, we are going to sew these 2 halves together, and we are going to nest these seams. Okay? And we will sew along there. Then we will press it open. Well, I guess you could press it to one side, but I'm going to press mine open. I'm going to put the triangle on, so flip it open, and that will probably just get pressed to one side. So let's get to the sewing machine. With the triangles, you just are gonna center them. Actually, do this side. Okay, I was wrong about the pressing. They are all going to go to one side. It's when we put the two halves together that we press the seam open. Now we'll be able to put all the halves together to make, oh, nope. Oh, I was supposed to trim before I did this. Oh, I don't know if it's going to turn out now. We'll see. Okay, I was supposed to trim it first. I had to take them apart just in the middle. I was able to leave the triangles on. And so I take the Lemoyne Star ruler, and it's got these V lines. I'm doing a 7-inch block, so I line up the 7 and then I trim. Okay, now I just repeat the same process. I line up the ruler with the seams and cut. I'm at a bad angle for cutting this. I didn't turn it right like I should have. Okay, now they are trimmed to the right size, and I just need to sew the seams together. I just nest my seams and sew. Now I just need to repeat the process with the other units. Okay, these ones I will need to line up with the 9-inch mark on the ruler for the 9-inch block. Okay, now I need to sew the halves together. I want to make sure the seams nest so that those points match, and it looks really good when it's done. Here's what the units look like. Now I just put the 2 units together and I will have my half star. So I just need to sew these together, make sure the seams nest, and sew it down. And there we go. And now I will repeat the same process for this star. Okay, now I'm going to finger press these seams opposite of each other so the seams can be nested. You notice the seams all go the same direction, and this time I'm going to pin it in place so that the seams stay nested and stay in place while I sew. And there we have a beautiful Lemoyne star. Okay, now I need to trim it. And you notice this seam is pressed open, but all the others go in a circle. And it lays nice and flat. So I will trim it at 9.5 inches. I've got a line that goes down that seam and the other seam, so they cross in the middle of the star. I've got a 1/4 inch on each of my points for a seam allowance, and then I can trim. Okay, my point is just a little bit off center, but I'm just going to work with it that way. Okay, I messed up. This block here is on point, which means I did not put the block together right. I made it so that it was a half star for a regular block going the regular direction, but this is on point, so I need an extra material up there. So I will need to unpick here and here so that I can add that square, and I will probably have to do the left and right triangle as well so they can be a little larger and fit in an on point. Okay, I've taken the triangle out of this section right here and off these ends right here, and now I'm going to attempt to do my first Y seam. I'm going to fold this in half and then fold this down so that I've got that triangle there. I'm going to put my square on and line it up. And I'm going to put my pin right against where the fold is so that I know where to stop. You don't have to go fast. Take your time. Oh. Then I'm going to leave my needle down, bring my presser foot up, and I'm going to take this flap and I'm going to switch, bring the flap to the front, pull the others to the back. Make sure it's lined up, and sew. And did it turn out? Woohoo! It turned out! Now I'll just have to, that's a close call there on that seam, but it is in there. Okay. Now I need to get the triangles for these. Okay, I'm going to use these scraps that I had from the strips, and what I need is for this triangle to come out farther and not straight down. So we're going to take this and flip it over, and we'll sew that one there. Take this one, flip it over, sew that one down, and then we'll trim them. Okay, we'll press these seams and then we'll get it trimmed, in a V like this. Okay, this is going to be half of a 7-inch block. So I am going to line this up. Here's 7.5 right here. I'm going to line this up so that I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance here on my points, and this goes here, and that makes the 5.5 go right across there. And actually I'm going to bring it down some more because I am supposed to. There we go. I'm going to trim it right there. Okay, and if this doesn't work out, I'll have to redo the block. So now I'm going to get some yellow for the basket, which I need to iron this. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got that ironed. Now I'm just going to, I'm not going to measure, I'm going to cheat. Line that up there. Line this up. See if I can do this left-handed. Okay. Now I'm going to sew 1/4 inch seam line here, and then when I open it up, I will have my flowers in a basket. Okay, I've got it pinned into place. This is the bias cut, so you want to be very careful not to stretch it or move it too much. So. When you come to here, you want to go across what would be the intersection of the seams to make your points. And now I just need to press it open. Okay, I've got this trimmed down to 7 inches. And I'm just going to take some 3.5 inch scraps that I had, and I'm going to put on a 3.5 inch square, sew it, fold it over, and do that to both of these, and then we will get to attaching this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these over, sew, need to press that better, press it open, and then I'm going to take this one and overlap it a 1/4 inch so that I have a seam allowance, sew, and then press it open because this is going to be getting cut off right there. Just going to finger press that towards the basket. Okay, now we'll press and trim. Okay, I've got that pressed, and now we're going to trim these and a little bit of this, because it'll be easier for me to see what size square I need and to make sure it is going to fit. So all right, I'm just going to do a rough cut, a rough trim, leaving a little extra. Okay. Okay, now what I need to do is draw a line. It needs to go through this intersection and I need a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch here. So I need to come to about here to about here, and I need to go through this intersection here. So I need to draw a line. This will be my sew line. Okay. That means I need about a 6.5 inch square, maybe just a little bigger, maybe 6 3/4. So I'll cut that out. To make it easy, I'll just go 7 inches. That one's got a, well, I'm not gonna, oh, that's 8. Okay, I'm gonna cut 7 inches. And that should be more than enough. And I am going to sew from here on my sewn line, then I can press it back and I will trim. Okay, now we need to trim to 9.5. I want this seam going, this line going down this seam. And I can see I'm going to lose a few points. Definitely the points on the vase. Trim that while I've got this. So I'm going to lose some of these points too because I trimmed it too much. But there is our on-point flower basket. Okay, here's our 2 blocks that we made, and here's the space that I'm going to put on. Sew here, flip, sew this to the right sides of that, and then flip, press them out, and we will have a spacer in between. So let me get those sewn. Okay, these 2 blocks are put together, and it will go here.